Alright, so as you can see, I have taken the screws off the cover and removed the cover. And you have to make sure you take the screws off on the right side, because there are two sides to this, of course. This is the side that the brake rotor screws to. You see that part right there? That's where you screw your brake rotor. That's the side we need off. That's the side that's going to give us access to the phase wires, or on this side. If you take the other side off, you won't have access to the phase wires. So it's actually the same side that the wire goes through to make it easy. Now, as you can see, I've removed this, and you have to be very careful when you removed it, because these are very strong magnets on the inside of the inner hub, and you can smash your finger in between. You know, if that pops back down and locks in place and your finger's in there, it will smash the hell out of your finger. And not only that, let me tell you how you remove it. Once you take the screws off of this, normally people use a gear puller to pull the stator out. You don't need a gear puller if you take the entire rim, like it is, and sit it on the ground and push down. If you sit it on the ground and push down, it will push the stator right up out of the hub. But you got to make sure you keep pressure on it, or the magnets will make it suck itself right back into it. Now, the reason why it's not sucking itself back into it right now is because I've also taken the washer, one of the washers that go on it, and I put it back in there. Oops. See how they stuck to those magnets in there? Those magnets ain't no joke. But anyway, I put the washer on the end of it like that. See that? So that way, when I sit it back down in here, it's not going to pop back into place, because that washer is going to keep it from doing that. So if you leave it on the hub while you work on it, make sure you do that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, you see there's a little zip tie right there that's holding the phase wires, strapping the phase wires to the stator. So you're going to have to cut that little zip tie off. And we just did that. And don't be scared to do any of this stuff I'm doing. It's not that scary. I know people are scared to do stuff, but this ain't scary, guys. All right, once you cut off the little zip tie, then your phase wires are free. See what I'm saying? They're free like that. So the next thing we want to do is we want to cut all of these phase wires, but we're going to cut it so that, as you can see, it's green, yellow, blue. We're going to cut it so you leave a little bit of wire on there so we know which one is which. I'm going to cut it like right here. I'm going to leave a little bit of shielding on there. That way I know this is the green one. You know what I'm saying? Same thing when I cut this next one. Cut this next one, you know it's the yellow one. Same thing with the blue. The reason why we cut them is because we're going to have to pull. Let me zoom back out. We're going to have to pull this wire out of the axle. And as you can see, the only thing that's really keeping that wire in the axle is all that glue. It's got a whole bunch of glue around there. Now, notice I did not cut this one because that is not a phase wire. This one has the hall sensor wires in it. Your hall sensor wires are very thin little wires. And it should be like 5 of them in there. And that's exactly what it is. There's a red, there's a black, and then there's another little small blue, green, and yellow. You do not want to cut those. We want to keep those. We're going to use those phase wires out of this same wire. So I'm going to remove this glue right here. And I started with my razor blade, cutting this glue off. It's very soft. It's like some hard silicone or something they use. So I'm going to finish cutting this glue off, and I'm going to come back when I got the glue cut off. Stand by. Actually, let me do this. Let me do this first. There's a little better way to do this. Now, like I said, we want those hall wires to remain. So, first thing I'm going to do, I got a razor blade. I'm going to cut a nice little slice, but make sure, try not to cut those hall wires. Try to slice over here where the phase wires off on this side. I'm going to cut a slice that's going to split the insulation. Cutting a slice that's splitting the insulation. So I can open that up like that. See how? Zoom in. See how I just cut the insulation with a razor blade and split that open like that? Okay. Once we do that, then you're going to look on the other side. Let me just spin it around. Where the wire goes into the axle. Where the wire goes into the axle, let me adjust my camera. They have like a little spring. The spring helps protect it when it's flexing back and forth. And then there's some heat shrink on the end of the spring. We're going to take all of that, the spring and the heat shrink, and slide it as far up the wire as we can. Let me let this let that piece fall to the ground. Okay, let's slide. See that? That's the spring and the heat shrink. We're going to slide that down, and it will slide down. Okay, once we slide that down, zoom back out. We'll take our razor blade again, and we're going to carefully split this insulation. Now you got to be careful. Remember, the hall wires are still in there. We want to keep that intact. We're splitting this insulation so that we can pull the phase wires out, but we want to leave the hall wires in there. You get it? You feel me? We just want to remove these phase wires. And see, I even scuffed one of the hall wires a little bit with the razor blade, but it's okay. That's why you got to be real careful. See, I'm opening it up. Now notice you got the 5 hall sensor wires in there. I'm gonna separate them. These are the hall sensor wires right there. Move them to the side. And these are the phase wires. Now, once you got the phase wires separated from the hall sensor wires, we're going to pull these out. They should pull out now. See that? It pulled all the way out. Do the blue one next. Pull that out. Pull the yellow out. Bam. So we got them pulled out. Okay? Now, once we got them pulled out, we're going to go to the end of this wire harness, and hopefully you can continue to pull the phase wires out. You shouldn't have to split this whole piece of insulation. I got mine split maybe about 4 or 5 inches. But let's see if I can. You might have to straighten this wire out. Get all the little curves out of it and everything, so we can try to pull those wires out of there. I'm just trying to keep that insulation intact. You may have to split this insulation all the way up to there, but try not to. God damn it. Okay, there it is. Once one comes out, once one of these comes out, the rest will be loose. They come out nice and easy. All right, so I pulled the yellow one out. Uh-oh. Now I'm gonna pull this blue one out. And like I said, you gotta straighten that wire out so it comes out. All right. And I'm taking the blue one out. Now, all right, now the green one's out of there. Okay, so the green, all the phase wires are out, and we're left with the insulation, and the hall wires remain in there intact. So, of course, we're going to tape this back up with some good tape, preferably 3M. 3M is the best. That's what I use. But you don't have to worry about taping that up right now. We still got more work to do over here. Now I spin it back around. We still got to remove the rest of the insulation and this glue and all that off. So just these hall wires will be coming through. We got to remove all the rest of this crap. Let me see if and in fact, what you're also going to have to do, because we need as much room as we can get inside of this axle to get our big old new 10 gauge wires through there. So what we're also going to do, you see where I have the insulation grabbed at after I've removed the hall sensor wires, put them to the side. We're going to take our razor blade and we're going to cut. Let's see if we can pull as much of that out as we can. We can't pull that out. It's glued down there. So we're going to cut the insulation right there. Okay? See that? Now that will go nicely. That will cover these hall sensor wires back up nicely. And we'll tape that up later. But we have to cut the insulation right there. So when we spin this back around, we can pull it out from the bottom. Once we get this glue loose. I'm going to see if I can do this on camera. If not, I may have to cut and come back. But like I said, now we want to try to get this glue off of there. Got my razor blade working around the edges of the glue. And then I'm try to pull this insulation out of there. Let me zoom back out. Some needle nose. It's coming. It's coming. Be real careful. Don't hurt those hall wires. Look at that. All that's breaking off now. We got to remove this insulation. There's no way you can keep that. We need as much space inside of that axle as possible. All right. Once you start pulling this, zoom back in. Once you start pulling this insulation through this way, you're going to have to keep splitting it with your razor blade. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to pull it off because it's hooked onto the hall wires. So you're going to have to keep splitting that. See that? I have removed the insulation that was inside of the axle. Now you can see the hole is nice and big. Insulation is removed out of there. And all we got to do is clean up this little glue around it. And that's just going to pull right on off because it ain't nothing but some silicone. Get all that out the way. Remove all that glue. So now it looks like this. Now you just got the hall wires coming through there. So now next is the obvious. We're going to run our new wires through there. And let me zoom back out now. Here's our new cable that I got. And like I said, you can go to Home Depot and get some high voltage AC power wire. And you just need to pick out one that has 3 wires in it. We need 3 wires, and this is the size with the 10 gauge wires in it. Let me see what the name is on this wire so you can see, and you can get the exact same one. Let's see. Try to focus on that there. Come on, focus on that. Anyway. Hard with that. Okay, as you can see, it says water resistant. It's trying to focus on everything. But you'll have to take a screenshot of that, I guess. P07. Damn it. Stop trying to focus on the stay there in the background. God damn it. This thing don't know what to focus on. I'm trying to touch on it. Hold on, fellas. Hold on. Shit. Wait a minute. Maybe if I switch lenses, that'll help. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to read to you what it says on there. It's Southwire World Cord 3/C. Uh, 300 volt. Shit, it's got so many damn numbers on here. Anyway, I'll get a shot of this. I'll get a shot of this with the camera when I finish, and take a picture of it like that and put it in the video. Anyway, so we got this wire. We got a razor blade. We're going to split this insulation. And we're going to need about, I'd say maybe 6 to 8 inches. Let me see, he's got paper in it too. But this is some good wire. Let me see. Let me get a measurement like that. That's about enough. And you see we got our 3 wires right there. I separated. And then the rest of it, you got paper and plastic shielding and all that. Let me do a measurement like this again. And actually, I'm going to give myself a little bit more than that. As much as you need, give yourself as much as you need. But you need for this cable to be at least 3.5 to 4 feet to reach from where your wheel is mounted up to underneath of your seat. So I'd say get 4 feet of this cable, and you're going to use about 1/2 foot of it splitting it like this. Wow. Cut it. All right. Damn it. Solder iron's falling off over here. I really need a solder station bad. Somebody gonna send me a solder station. I doubt it. Oh, and by the way, while I'm doing this, let me, man, if any of you guys out there got any equipment that you no longer use, that you want to donate, I don't care what it is. I mean, it'd be nice if somebody had a 3D printer they wasn't using or a CNC machine. That would be great. But it don't have to be anything fancy like that, man. I take whatever you think I could use. If you ain't using it no more and you want to donate it to the kid. And I call myself a kid. I'm 50 damn years old. You want to donate it to the old man. Just trying to be a kid. Relive his youth. Alright. There it is. We got the insulation split back. And we got our 3 wires. Bang, bang, bang. And no, they're not the same color. Okay, but we're going to work that out. All right, now's the hard part. Because now we got to get these 3 big old wires down in this hole. It ain't as bad as I say, but sometimes it's a little difficult. But we got to slide these 3 wires down there past those hall wires and come out at the bottom. And hopefully we can do that. And it's going to take a little bit of playing around to make that happen. I think when I did it the first time, I just did one at a time. And I'm trying to think, did I go over or under? I think I went under the hall wires. I think that's easy. If you move the hall wires to the inner side and slide the wires down under it, I think that's the best route. Okay, so we got 1 through there. Let's try the next one. It's a tough fit. That's why I say you ain't gonna get no bigger than these through there. And I just noticed that this wire says 12 gauge on it. These are 12 gauge. Whatever, it's bigger. It's a lot bigger than the wire that came out of there. So I think the wire that came out of there may be 20 gauge. I might have been wrong on that. But the thing is, we want to increase that gauge of wire for our phase wires. Bigger than them little noodle wires that was in there. This last one, of course, is going to be the hard one. And trying to remember, I did it the last time. I might even had to put some grease on it, some oil on it. But I got it through there. Oh, there it is. There we go. What you may have to do is when you get down to the end, you may have to pull on the 2 wires you already got coming through there, and they'll pull that one out a little bit, just enough so you can grab it. And I'm grabbing it with these needle nose. Come on out of there. You coming through. Uh-oh. I might be talking too soon. You coming out of there, though, buddy. There it is. Okay. All right. Let me zoom in there. As you can see, I got my 3 wires through there. It's a tight fit. Now, you see all that I got up there? I'm going to pull it until I get the insulation all the way down to the bottom. And yep, it's definitely a tight fit. There we go. There we go. All right. That's what it looks like. That thick old wire is all the way down as far as it can go. And you see you got your Hall sensor wires. We're going to put that insulation back over top of them. And I don't know where my damn tape is. Find my tape. Anyway, I don't need that just yet. Okay, so bam. Now you got your three phase wires down here. Eeny, meeny, miny, and mo. The first one is green, then there's yellow, and you can pull that off if you want. Yeah, you're gonna have to pull it off, because I solder directly to where they have their connections at. Solder directly to where they have their connections at. If you want to cheat and solder to there, but that wouldn't be serving the purpose. We want to solder it directly to where they have their solder, and they got some heat shrink down here at the end. So we're going to cut that heat shrink off, because I want to go all the way down to where they have their solder joint and remove it down there, because these coil wires that run through there, they have a shielding on them that you can't see. It's clear, and actually it's hard to get the solder to bond with them initially. You have to really scrape them down and put some witchcomb on it, some flux on there to get the solder to take. But anyway, grab my big old soldering iron here, my biggest, hottest one with the ugly tip on it. Just sit up there and burn up. I'm gonna have to clean this tip a little bit. This tip done been through it. Alright, so I tinned my tip. Remember, we had our solder lesson. Showed y'all how to tin the tip. You gotta keep your tip clean and keep some solder on it. Let me tin that tip again. Put a little bit of solder on it. Alright, once I do that, I'm gonna try to heat this old solder up on there and pull this wire out. And that's exactly what I was able to do. And a little bit of solder popped on me. Alright. That's a little hot. There's my needle nose again. Zoom back out a little bit. So I'm going to try to straighten this out a little bit. Now this was the green one. And you can attach, well, I'm going to use the green. We got black, white, and green. So I'm going to use the green for the green. That only makes sense. So let me strip this back. Ta-da. And, oh, okay. Before you solder them together, hopefully you got some heat shrink. Or you can use that little shielding that they had on it already. I guess we can use that. Now I'll save my heat shrink. So I'll slide that little sleeve back on our new wire, and we'll repurpose that, because that's nice high temperature shielding. And once we do that, you want to twist your new phase wire. I'm gonna have to strip that a little bit longer. Wrap your new phase wire around that coil wire again. So now all we got to do is solder it. solder the new wire. And you need a heavy soldering iron, not no little weak 20 or 30 watt soldering iron. This is an 80 watt soldering iron. It gets real hot. And you need that for this thick old heavy stuff, because it takes a lot of heat. Takes a nice little bit of solder too. All right, there we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. No, we don't. Not a good joint. Let me do that again. See what I'm saying? It takes a lot of heat to get that solder to penetrate down through there. And a lot of solder too. Damn it. Alright, finally, we got that solder to penetrate. And I dropped some solder on the coil too. Clean that up off of there. Good, it didn't stick to it. I'm not happy with that bond. Fellas, hold on, I gotta hit that some more. Definitely want to make sure that's good. Bear with me. This is live. Shit happens. I need to clean my tip. Being real stubborn. Okay, I seen it flow through that time. Ooh, and it's hot on my hand too. Okay, there we go. There we go. Alright. Now, I'm going to try to slide this heat shielding back down on it. And the thing is, I made that solder not so big, it might not even slide down on it. So I may have to put a little tape on that one. Oh, no, it went on it. So I'll do better with the next one. Get on down on it. All right. Yeah, I made that not so big. It was hard to slide that sleeve back on top of it. All right, so we're going to do the next one. And the next one is yellow, and we're going to use the white for the yellow one. So again, we got to cut that shield off. I should have put some on that other one, but we didn't really need it. Maybe we'll do this one. And let's see if we can heat this one up. Put some solder on there. My tip is really jaggedy looking. I'm going to use the pliers on this. Burn my damn hand up. Heat it up, let that solder melt. And then we're going to pull it out like we just did. Alright. Gotta plug my cord up. It says my battery power's down low. Ah, damn it. Soldering ain't falling. Burning up the carpet. Really gonna be in trouble. Okay. This video might be a little raggedy, fellas. Work with me. Work with me. As long as you can see what's happening. Alright, we're gonna do this next one. The white one. And we'll try to get this wrapped around a little better this time. Alright. And like I said, it takes a nice little amount of solder. Go through that old thick wire. Here we go. Bam. That one went on pretty good and pretty easy. I had the wire wrapped around a lot better. Sorry, I flipped my camera. Oh man, did I forget to put the damn heat shield on there? I sure did. You know what? Let me pull that back off again. Moving too fast. Damn, I wasted all that damn solder. I had to do that one again. That's alright. Luckily, that's the center one. And then we got a little bit more wire for that one. Alright, ain't gonna forget this time. Put the shielding on there first. Alright. Now, let's try this again. You ain't really gotta see everything. Y'all knew what's happening. Alright. What the hell is texting me over there? Busy. All right. Looks good. I'm gonna add a little bit more solder to it, just to make sure. And there we go. Let that cool down. Start on the next one. The last one is the blue, and we're going to use the black for the blue. Same thing. I had to make some more space on my phone because I ran out of storage. Recording in 4K eats up space quick. And I had a whole bunch of old stuff on my phone I had to get rid of so I could finish recording this. Now, this is taking a whole lot longer than it should have to do this. But this is why I say that when you're trying to videotape these little jobs and stuff like this, man, it takes so much extra time to videotape. Believe me. Because I would have been done this shit right here by now if I wasn't trying to record it. Ain't no doubt in my mind. Use my pliers again. Come on. Let go. Let go. Let go. What I should have been doing in the beginning is cutting a whole bunch of that excess off of there. It wouldn't have been so hard. Getting that through there. But anyway, you live and you learn. Alright, this is the last one. Put our shielding on there this time so we don't have to do no redos. Like I said, that's the thing about live. Live, you got most people in them videos, they fake because they editing them all up and they don't let you see all the problems and stuff they be having. With me, y'all gonna learn one thing about me, and be it good or bad. Sometimes it works in my favor, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm a realist, fellas. I keep it real as I can. I ain't a whole lot of faking with me. What you see is what you get. You know. I know a lot of times some of these videos I'm happy-go-lucky, and then y'all see some of these videos I'm in a bad mood because real life be happening. You know what I mean? Real life be happening. I ain't no damn celebrity or no person that ain't got no real life problems. I got problems and shit like everybody else. And like I say, shit be happening. And sometimes I'll be mad at shit that you shouldn't even really be mad at. But hey, that's what happens when you stress sometimes. Stress will make you edgy. I know some of these videos I've seen myself where it sounds like I got a lot of attitude, and when it sounds like that is because I do. Shit be happening, you know. And I get pissed off with this YouTube shit sometimes, man, because you know you got a whole lot of fakers out there, people trying to befriend you and act like they're your friend and see where they can get out to you and this and that. And look, man, I done been around the world twice. Shook everybody's hand at least one time. So you ain't getting over on me, man. I'm from the streets. I see through all that fake bullshit. Don't ever think you can pull a wool over my damn eyes. I'm not saying I'm the smartest person ever, but I damn sure ain't no damn dummy. I lived to be 50 years old where the rats is bigger than the goddamn cats. I know you hear me say that shit a lot, but it's not a joke. It's not a game. Alright, so we got all three of them soldered up. Got the shielding back on them. That's pretty much it. As far as this part goes, you have now replaced your phase wires. See that? You now have some heavy duty, thicker gauge wires on your phase wires that can handle more current. Now, there was a guy that he was trying to tell me that that's not the only difference between the 3,000 watt motor and the 5,000 watt motor. He wanted to tell me, yeah, there are more coils and what he means by that is these wires they got wrapped around here, how many times they got the wires wrapped and all that. And he was going into all that. Well, this motor might have certain amount of wraps on it. This motor might. And that's true for some motors. That's why you got those 5Ts and 3Ts and all that. But this is not one of those expensive motors. This is a Chinese motor. And let me just tell you guys, I've seen those expensive motors and I've seen the inside of these cheap motors. And guess what? They look exactly the damn same. They're using the same shit. It's an electric motor. It ain't too much you can change in there. You got wire and you got magnets and iron metal that this shit is wrapped around. So, yeah, he was trying to tell me about those magnets. As you can see on the inside of there, these hub motors, they got magnets that go all around in there. And they're just glued to the inside of the hub. And that's why I told you guys, sometimes when you hear them motors and they're spinning and it sounds like you got popcorn in there, shit like that, bouncing all around in there. Most of the time it's little pieces of these magnets. These magnets on the side, these magnets, they break from you hitting curbs and jumping hills and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes an entire magnet, a whole magnet might fall off. It's kind of hard because for one, they're magnets, and just by being magnets, the magnetism alone sticks it to the side of the hub. Then they have some really good glue on there. So I mean, for the most part, they're really hard for them to fall off, but they do fall off. And when they fall off, like I said, they bounce all around in there. But like I'm telling him, it ain't but so much you can change inside of these motors. Now let me tell you something. Grin Technologies, they make motors. They make cheap ones and they make expensive ones. And you know the differences in the motors? The differences may only be something like these bearings right here. They may use higher quality bearings. Like these bearings, these may be the cheapest bearings they got. But it's just the bearing. That has no impact on, how this motor performs. The only thing that's going to change is, the bearings might freeze up in there and wear out faster than a high quality one. Not only that, Grin Technologies also makes their motors with the stators, the stator being this entire middle piece out of aluminum or something else that's lighter than iron. So their motors are lightweight. They weigh less. Say this motor weighs 10 pounds. They might have a lightweight motor that weighs 3 pounds. But the coils and the magnets, it's the same shit. You can't change with so much in these motors to make one better than another. So you go ahead and buy one of those $800, $1,000 motors, and when you open it up, guess what? It's the same exact wires in there and the same exact magnets. So you let them fool you and tell you, this motor is better quality, yada, 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 this, yada, that. The only thing that's going to make these motors perform differently is how many times these wires are wrapped around these coils in there. And what that does is change the motor's internal resistance. I had a video about that and why Frank. And that's the good thing about this 1500 watt motor. For some reason, whatever the internal resistance is in this motor, it's low enough that it doesn't require a whole lot of current to get this motor up to a high RPM. Now, those expensive motors, like I said, they have more turns on them. Like this might have 20 turns on it. One of those may have 15 turns, 10 turns, whatever the turn ratio is different. That's going to change the impedance, the resistance, the amount of ohms when you measure that motor, what the internal resistance is. That's it. But they ain't using no better quality wire. The wires is still copper. They still using rare earth magnets or nickel cadmium magnet, whatever kind of magnets they using in there, man. So don't be fooled by all that $800 motor over this $100 motor, man. I guarantee you this motor may just outperform one of those expensive motors. So that's why when it comes to the motor part, man, you go ahead with that bullshit that you think you need a $1,200 motor. And yeah, you paid $1,200 for it, but you open it up and it got the same shit that this $100 or this $150 motor got in it. So go ahead, do what you do. Let that shit fool you. Just like iPhones, you go ahead and pay. Well, I got a Note, but yeah, my Note will outrun circles around the iPhone all day long, and I guarantee you that. But when it comes to other shit out there, you just paying for a name or a label, because there ain't nothing else different about it. All right, now back to this. What we're going to do, remember we cut a wire tie that was holding these phase wires in the beginning. So we're going to put another wire tie on there to hold these phase wires down. And I'm using a bigger, thicker one than what they had. I don't know how long this video is, but see, it's pretty long. And like I said, this shit took entirely too long. Too long to do. If I wasn't filming this shit, I'd have did this shit in 5 minutes. I'm sure this video is every bit of 30, 40 minutes. Alright, so that's done. Phase wire is complete. I'm going to put some silicone glue on there like they had, and I'm going to put it back together. Y'all don't need to see none of that bullshit. I'll see you on the next one.